before I let you guys go, prediction time. How do you think? How do you think it will go tomorrow night?
I think we're both kind of me and Jacko style. I think we're both going for a similar outcome here. I think Rangers will get a draw. I think it'll be a score draw. I've went with 1-1 in my prediction for the paper. I just think Rangers have got a goal in them. No, as I say, that experience. A lot of these boys have been there for the last few years. They've got experience of going away from home now into hostile environments and getting results. I think that will be key for them again. And I think probably in Gassama, obviously Danilo's had a decent bit of form as well in pre-season, but Gassama brought something different in that first game. The impact he made off the bench was incredible. And I think that'll have struck a wee bit of fear into Panathinaikos about what he can do to them.
I should say, I've cut them off a wee bit early there, Keith, because the Wi-Fi in the Panathinaikos Stadium was like prehistoric. It was mad. Fraser tips a score draw as well. So both guys think they'll get through tomorrow night. But what's your thoughts?
I think it's a really tough one to call for a number of reasons. One, and in no minor way, the way that last week's first leg went, where, as you correctly said, Daniel, Panathinaikos could have killed the tie in the first half. Rangers could have killed the tie in the second half. It just came down to moments, and I think the boys are right there in saying that Rangers were, I think they could walk away from that feeling that most of the big moments went their way, although granted, they could have scored another 2 or 3 goals, which would have basically rendered this second leg a null and void affair. But I just look at it, and at this early stage and what Russell Martin's trying to do, the fact that he's still, I think, you know, Kieran Dowell, a perfect example. There will still be an element of square pegs and round holes here, and I just don't think it's humanly possible for his style of play to have been drummed into the minds of these Rangers players in such a short space of time. So there's a lot to add into the equation. Do you know what I think? I think if Rangers can get an early goal or get the first goal, and they are extremely capable of that, and we've seen that they are very good at countering at some speed, especially away from home in Europe. And if they can get the first goal, it would, that's a 3-goal cushion. I would still imagine that Panathinaikos will think they're not out of it and they'll come back. It wouldn't surprise me at the end of the day if Rangers get through, but Panathinaikos win the match 2-1.
We've got plenty of predictions coming in. Scott says that as well. He says we're a new team. It'll be difficult moments, but 3-2 loss, but we'll qualify. And actually agrees well, Keith. I think this is going to be a really, really difficult game for Rangers. One thing that we haven't mentioned, though, is that Vaganidis, the right-back who was sent off last week. That's
another big boost for Rangers, 100%.
One of their best players. He's been linked with Everton and West Ham and what have you. He obviously can't play. And
I think he's going to... Is he not going to Sporting Lisbon?
Oh, is he?
I think so. But certainly he's attracting a lot of attention from major clubs across the continent. So, yeah, that obviously counts in Rangers' favour. I didn't think it was I think it was a 32-year-old that came on and played at right back when he went off. And that's another thing that you're looking at if you're Russell Martin. If they've got a 32-year-old stand-in at right back, what do you want to do down that left flank? Because you might well consider that Gassama's pace and his scorching pace, that he could give some real problems to the stand-in right back down that side. And so I think Scotty might be proven correct with that one. I think that Gassama might well come into Russell Martin's thinking for a place in the starting 11. Who drops out, I'm not sure. I think the boys, well, it's either Dowell or Curtis, isn't it?
Well, who would you drop?
I don't know, because can Gassama play? Or I'm just saying there, you want Gassama having a run at the stand-in right back, second choice right back. So can Curtis play on the other side? Can he swap wings and play on the right hand side? I don't know. Does that would that throw the balance out for Russell Martin? I'm not sure. So a lot to be taken into consideration. I don't think Rangers get very much out of Kieran Dowell in the first game, although I take on board what the guys were saying there. I'm sure that he probably had more of a sort of defensive shift in terms of space to cover and, to fill in, to allow the more forward-thinking players to get at Panathinaikos. But I just don't feel that over the period he's done enough for anybody else other than Russell Martin at this point, for Rangers, people that have been observing Rangers over the last while, to think, yeah, he's a guy that you can hang your hat on in a game of this importance. So, but it'll be fascinating to see. And I think there is still a question mark about whether it's Dessers or Danilo up top. I think if Dessers struggled to get up to speed at the weekend, I think he was only on for 45 minutes. But I also think the fact that he was on only for 45 minutes could be an indicator that, it was get 45 minutes in your legs, because you might have to do something similar or longer on Wednesday night. So, yeah, a lot of things to take into consideration. And the bottom line is it's really difficult to tell because we don't have a back catalogue of what Russell Martin and Rangers look like. We've got, that 90 minutes, and there's been a couple of friendlies. So it's hard to predict. And that could, again, work in Rangers' favour if the Greeks don't know what's going to come. But I like the guys, suspect the first 11 won't alter that much from the team that was sent out to start against Panathinaikos in the first leg.
Mark and John make the point. Mark says it's the heat that might be Rangers' biggest problem. John says
I think that is going to be a factor. Yeah.
I was looking earlier on at my app. It could be as high as 39 degrees at kick-off tomorrow night. 39 degrees.
That's mental.
It's absolutely insane. And just finally, before we wrap up on Rangers, Diesel says a solid back four is a must. Although Aaron's a quality player, we can't start him at left back. And Ken says Yefty would be a great forward option. He struggles defensively. However, going forward, he and Gassama would torch the right back. That's the other thing we did talk about after the game last week, Keith, that Aaron's was maybe the one person that kind of stood out in the team as a bit of a weak link last week. Would you start him tomorrow?
It doesn't really matter if I would start him or not. I've not seen enough Aaron's. Russell Martin has. Russell Martin has seen enough of him to be convinced that he's a better option at left back than Jefty, and Ridvan Yilmaz hasn't even made the squad. What I think, I can't judge it based on just 90 minutes. I didn't think they looked particularly comfortable. Now, whether that was the inverted nature of the role that he was having to play or the fact that he's a right-sided guy playing on the left, he didn't have a great 90 minutes. It wasn't a great introduction. But I know that he has experience of playing at left back. This wasn't a one-off. Mm-hmm. He's done it at various other clubs. And it might well be that Russell Martin sticks with him. I think that it's more likely that he sticks with him than drops him for this match. And I guess the thing that will maybe frustrate Max Allen's a little bit is the one time that he did find himself over on the right flank, he was actually, he played a pivotal role in the move which led to, I think, the Rangers' second goal, or the first. Was it the second? Where he popped up on the right-hand side and played, second goal, and he plays a great pass into Egerman. Egerman then releases to the left-hand side, and then Gassama scores that goal, which has really made a big difference going into this second leg. But I think, look, all to play for tomorrow night. I don't think 2 goals, Rangers can go there feeling in any way relaxed, because I think they've got a monumental shift in front of them.
So what are you saying, 1-0 Panathinaikos, 2-1 Panathinaikos?
I think Rangers will score, but I can still see Panathinaikos coming back at them. And so I'm going to go 2-1 Panathinaikos, and the job that Rangers did in the first leg at Ibrox will just be enough to get them through.
I agree. Scott in the comments said it'd be 3-2, and I agree with that. I think it's going to be a goal